Okay, so I just bag up the smaller flakes. I dumped all the little ones. I mean, the very little ones. You know, stuff like this I don't use anymore. Although I can get some small, very small arrowheads out of that. I don't bother anymore with flakes of that size. So I'll just bag up these flakes. That's about the smallest I use now. And I can still make arrowheads out of these clunky pieces. You gotta be careful it doesn't rip through the bag. Anyways, I did have some questions on this before. What do I do with the debitage? And I don't answer that question very often. I just bag up the reasonable sized pieces for later. And throw away stuff like this. Even though I probably could make something out of that one. I've got so many of this size that it's just, it would take me a lifetime to nap it all. Okay. Alright, so let me see. I'm going to take the worst one. There's a lot of black in the background. I think you remember this piece. I made a bad strike on this side and I really crushed it, but I'm going to see if I can work through that area. There's plenty of weight to it now, but when I start thinning it down, it's going to lose weight fast. Normally I use a larger mallet, but I gave away my other one. And I also have an antler mallet, of course, like in all my other videos. Let's see. And aluminum does slip a little bit. Copper might grab a little bit better, but as long as you make firm contact, it'll send a flake. So I try to wear gloves with glass, but sometimes they just get in the way. And I say glass, I mean obsidian. Same thing. Now this obsidian here, it's got bands in it, but it's more like a triple flow than a banded obsidian. I think. I don't know. It has a lot of elasticity to it. So you can hit the ends and it's not going to snap in the middle, which is an excellent quality to have. Of course, you can't be too careless with it. It will snap in the middle, but that's what I get mostly for questions. How do I prevent it from snapping in the middle? And one of the best things to do is look for the obsidian that won't do that. And this one has kind of a... This is from Northern California or somewhere like that. It has kind of a purplish tint to it, which is much better quality than the greenish tint. If you can get the purplish or brownish tinted obsidian, that's the best, I think. All right. See if we can get a color on this. That's high quality stuff. It's a pleasure to work with that stuff. Okay. I think you can see the color in that one. It's got bands in it too. I mean, it's got streaks of darker material, like jet black, mixed in with the other, like zebra stripes. Okay. There's a little bit of a weird spot here. Let's see. It's a step fracture, but it's a really bad one. I tried to come in from this side, but I wasn't able to reach it. It went over the top this way, but it didn't go over. It didn't go over on this side to remove it. I guess I could try to drive a really long flake and come in from this way, but that's a long shot. Literally. Let's see. I'll try it anyway. I'm going to lose some width on it, but and I'm going to hit, it's going to be kind of above center line, but I'm going to try to drive a flake across. And I hit it pretty hard. Looks like it Looks like it did go across. Took off some of the other side though. So I hit it here, went across, and actually removed that step and then went further and overshot. Unfortunately, but I think I still have enough width to work with. And it looks like there was a seam. Okay. It's again really tough. For Obsidian, it's really nice. The only thing is, if you hit it really hard and it doesn't do anything, it looks like it didn't do anything, but you're leaving little cracks. So every time I hit the side of it, I am leaving little cracks, even though it's not going. I can't do that too often. I have to be careful not to abrade too much. It's one of the reasons why the flakes aren't traveling. Because it's got to start with a lot of force. If I abrade a lot. Alright, that's what I was looking for. Some good flakes that don't overshoot but go all the way across. That kind of flattens it out. Well, not kind of. But you got to watch the force. That was a lot of force, and it sends in radial cracks that are actually going, this way through it. So that they start. I don't know if you can see, but the bulb of, it's not bulb. Shock wave goes out at an angle like this way and that way, and there's radial cracks that begin to go in. And I can see the beginnings of them on the edge. I gotta nap those off before I go any further, because those can expand and go across. If you shock the tip or the base, those cracks that I just sent in, I could see a couple in here. Those can expand and go right across. With any kind of bending, like if you hit the end, it bends. Anyway. I recently had some emails asking me about how to nap Obsidian, so I decided to work on these arrowheads to help answer some of those questions. I already answered them in the email, but just in case I missed something. I gotta go down to a softer or a more lightweight mallet. Back to my old antler. Instead of this one here. This one really drives a lot of force, but like I said, it leaves these little radial cracks when I use a lot of force. Alright. I'll have to take, shallower flakes now, but I think I can still get some good flakes to go across. I just can't do a deep one like I did there anymore. because I run the risk of really smashing up the edge. So I'm going to do shallower flakes, more but shallower, and try to get just as long and maybe some wide ones. See, these are pretty wide, but they're very shallow. I should have saved that one. See, at this stage I'm using really thin and relatively wide flakes. One of these days I'll do the proportions on these. With each stage of the operation, you can start to be consistent on your proportions of the flakes. Thickness to width, ratios at different stages. And that sort of thing. And with this new year and these new videos coming up, I'll probably do more of that, saving each flake and then looking at the proportions later, and then make a chart or something of all the different flakes at different stages. And that kind of helps with the analysis of the debitage on archaeological sites. What stage of the manufacture do these flakes come from? That kind of thing. It kind of helps to know what they were making, if they were refining the preforms or if they were creating preforms, that kind of thing. Were they doing the whole process at that site or just some of the process? At this stage I like to have this kind of flake. And that one ran past the center. It's a nice flattening type of flake. Another one, very wide, very thin. Keep dropping the mallet there. And I don't have to worry too much about messing up the edge because I'm taking shallow flakes. I'm not really smacking the edge really hard with a really heavy mallet. Even though I haven't changed the bit size, it's still a large bit. The force here is what's important. A lot of times I can do the whole arrowhead with just the same size bit. It's nice to reduce the size of the bit as the arrowhead gets smaller, or as the preform gets smaller, but it's not necessary. Okay, anyway, I'm taking too much time. still getting those cracks on the edge, those beginnings of the radial cracks. I can see where I'm getting some of those. And those can be reduced with practice when using just the minimal amount of force to drive these flakes. So you're not smashing the edge all to pieces, so to speak. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Gotta watch. At this stage, the step fractures are hard to avoid and hard to repair. You know, I'll have to come in from the backside to get rid of that one. I knew I was going to be going into a trouble spot when I hit that, and I was hoping to blow through it, but with Obsidian, a lot of times you can't do that. So I'm going to have to come in from some other way. Might even be too small with this arrowhead. I'm going to weigh it before I go any further. Okay, it's 430 grains. It's still plenty. And let's see. It's still got plenty of mass. Okay, let's see. It's 3 inches long, or thereabouts, a little bit less. What is that? Inch and a half. So it's going to end up being an inch wide and hopefully 2.5 inches long. And it's about, I don't know, 3/8 thick or thereabouts. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to continue tomorrow because it's pretty late. And I don't want to break this on video. And I need to make another tool. I gave away my other smaller ones. I am going to go to a smaller tool for this than this. This is a 3/8. Let's see. Just to make sure. Yeah. It's a 3/8 bit. I'm going to make a smaller one. 1/4 inch and then 1/8, probably 2 more. Okay, so I'll stop it there. Hopefully you can see what I did. I do have a couple spots that are going to give me some trouble. I created a step fracture right there in an area that's pretty thin. Well, you can kind of see the transparency. There. Pretty cool stuff. And as I get thinner, it'll be a lot more noticeable. Okay. I got a lot of good platforms still that I was getting ready to hit, but I'll just stop it here. Okay.